Today's story is the story of Matt Simpkins. And on the way here, I was watching his YouTube channel, Matt Simpkins Living with Cancer. So that's going to be a big theme in this podcast. And my own little niece, years ago, she was diagnosed with leukemia. And my sister had to give up a job. She was in and out of hospital. And, fortunately, Great Ormond Street Hospital saved her life. Now, with Matt, he's been ravaged by the cancer and had various treatments, so it's up and down. You've seen the headline of what this video is as well. And the way that I met Matt was through DJ Mike Hot Wheels, one of my best friends. If anyone's ever read Party Time, my book about back in the rave days, Mike Hot Wheels was one of my ecstasy suppliers out of Los Angeles. So he ended up getting deported back to the UK for his crimes. He did some time in the feds in California and ended up in the UK prison system. And that's how he met Matt. Now, a few days ago, I come down, because I live with Mike, and a few days ago, I come down the stairs, I'm having my breakfast, and I hear Matt and Mike talking. And I learned that Matt was busted in this £15 million weed deal. Got the headlines. He's brought all his paperwork, all the newspaper stories here. Trio jailed over drug seizure.
That's quite embarrassing.
Saga of the trial of the 3 cannabis smugglers. Got the Irish Times. The trial of 3 Englishmen charged with possessing cannabis for supply following the seizure of £15 million worth on a boat on board a trawler off West Cork was adjourned. And on and on, all the paperwork, on and on it goes. So because of the cancer, Matt has got a cough as well, so bear with us through the interview. Now, whereabouts are you from originally then?
The Cotswolds. I was from Cheltenham. I was born in St. Paul's.
So for the Americans then, whereabouts is that in the country?
Sort of the Cotswolds, Bristol way, on the way over to sort of Wales that way. And it is a really nice sort of part of the world. Sort of a lot of the artists live there. I think, it's just one of those sort of places that's really nice. And it's a nice place to be, really, the Cotswolds. I go back now and again to see my family and friends. I went there a few weeks back now, and I actually went because obviously I was sick with cancer, so I thought I'd go back and catch up with my family and friends. So I made a booked a table in a restaurant everybody knows, which is really nice. It was called the Apple Tree. So all these people turned up. And some of my school friends from 35 years ago turned up. It was like, oh my God, you look old and bold and stuff. Sorry about that. But no, really, I was like, oh my God, you turned up. And they were sort of friends from school, which was so nice. But yeah, the Cotswolds is lovely.
I just want to say as well, Matt Simpkins Living with Cancer, the YouTube channel, is in the description box below this video. He set it up for his family and friends to watch, but go over there and you can see the extent of the cancer and what he's dealing with. And I urge people also to subscribe. So it sounds like you grew up in a nice part of the country then.
I did, but it wasn't. To grow up in that part of the country was lovely, but it was a pretty shitty start. I had a few dads.
A few dads? How many?
1, 2, 3.
How did that come about then?
My first dad left me when I was a kid. So I'm a 67 boy, It's one of those sort of things.
Yeah.
The hippie days.
Yeah.
I'm sort of a yuppie hippie. I like nice things, but I like to be quite relaxed as well in my life. But
so he bailed on your family?
Yeah. My first dad bailed on the family when I was about 1 or 2. And then another dad came involved, which I won't say his name, but he was a bastard. He kicked shit out of me. He was really violent, beat my mum up, and me and my brother. And
what years did that occur over?
Well, 67, so I'm talking about 69, 70. It was just like, but then again, back in the day, it was quite weird because there was no social services. Today, you fart and the social services are on your case. But seriously, it's true though. The social services are there. And I had to I had to sleep 7 nights on my front because my back was so bruised from my dad.
Oh, God.
And he was a horrible little man. And me and my brother Rick, love him dearly, Rick, bless him. We said, when we get older, we're going to beat him up. But we got older, we grew up, and you just think, you poor little shit. He was just a horrible little man, and that was it.
Yeah. Was he doing alcohol or drugs or anything?
Oh, yeah, heroin. Yeah. Like when I was going to school, I used to live in 42A Longlands Road in Bishop's Cleeve, and I used to come home from school, and sometimes I'd turn up, and I was a young kid, and the whole floor, people were just laying down, totally messed up, and I'd want to go to the toilet. There's somebody in there jacking up, and it was all very like normal to me. And that was how life was back in those days. And, you know, and everybody was doing this stuff. And there was like blue blancmange and oil in the freezer. It was all very odd.
Were you trying drugs?
No, not at all. I became very anti. That was the thing about me, I think. When it's around you all the time, you become quite anti to it all.
Yeah.
Which I did. And, so then I got my third dad, Paul, lovely guy. He turned up. I went to swim in prison in, Dartmoor. And he was a forger. Bloody good forger. Really good. He used to, well, back in the day, I don't know if you remember them, they go on 52, I remember them. You used to have the post office books, and they were blue with a bit of, and you used to write in them. There was no computers in those days. So my dad used to make these. He used to live in a van. It's obviously prior to me becoming my father. He did lots of time in prison before he became my dad. And he used to make these books. I'd go to any post office, put what money he wanted, and I'd just give him the money. That was it. I'd just give him the money, just like that. Yeah, I'll put your book in, you've written what you wanted out of it. And because he made the books, there was none of this scanning and stuff. And then he made this other thing I thought was really hilarious. I remember telling me one day, it was so funny. He made Euro checks when they first came out, but he made this Euro check like the size of that wall.
Good grief.
And got it, and then he reduced it.
Yeah.
And then loads of people went to France and cashed them. He got like thousands and thousands of pounds. He went over they all went to France and they cashed all these Euro checks that he'd made, like that, reduced down to that. I was a beautiful artist. I love his work. He was a fantastic artist. I paint. I'm a good painter, but then again, that's not from him. I just think I can paint.
So, of all this criminal activity in your younger years, was the police a factor?
No, never. There was never any police involved, because I lived in with my dad. We lived in different places. We lived up north in Manchester to start with, because we ran away from this guy called Greg, who was my dad. He was really violent and horrible. So I ended up Bury in Lancashire. And I'm in Bury. I was going to say about Cheltenham, which is so lovely, because obviously I still see my friends from Cheltenham, and it's one of my little standard sayings is, can't read and write, but I can drive tractor, and don't tell me how to dig a hole. And it was just like one of those words that was so nice. And then when I go back to Cheltenham now, they go, Matt, your accent's changed. Why don't you speak like us anymore? And I say, because I've lived in Spain, Portugal, I've lived all over the place. It's like one of those things. But so
did you say you visited your third dad in prison?
Yeah, Paul. I went down, but before he became my dad, my mum obviously fell in love with him, and I remember going down to Dartmoor prison. And back in those days, you had the jacket and the tie, and you had to do all of these, be really smart all the time. Whereas,
how old were you, and how did that feel going into a prison?
I don't really know, to be honest. It didn't really bother me. But it must have been about, 10, 11. And I never forget, I remember seeing this lady in there, and Doctor Who was on the telly, and she was a star in Doctor Who. And she was a woman. I've forgotten her name now, but she was so pretty. And I looked around and I went, oh, that's her out of Doctor Who. And I went, oh my God. And I actually got her autograph on a piece of paper, went over and said hello and got her autograph. And she was out of Doctor Who. I couldn't believe it. But you'd have to check this out, guys, back in the day. And like when I was 10, 11 years old, it was like I went to see my dad. This was the person that was on Doctor Who.
So what was she doing there?
She was seeing her boyfriend who was in prison. Do you know what I mean? I didn't expect to see this woman from Doctor Who meeting her fella in prison in Dartmoor. It was back in the good old days, you know what I mean? With John Pertwee and stuff like that. It was all very early days. But so yeah, I went through that, I suppose. Just went through my dad's, and my dad was great. My third dad, he was just very down to earth, and like I say, we moved around the country. We moved from sort of Manchester down to Brockworth in the Cotswolds, where they do the cheese rolling. When the cheese rolling,
yeah,
I was there, and that's where I was. I used to watch all the cheese rolling every year, and this and that. We moved there to the Cotswolds again. Went to Winchcombe and Gretton, and I lived there. And Mum and Dad decided they wanted to go and live in Spain and do this and that. So I left home when I was 15 because I had a girlfriend. You know.
How was your school performance?
I went everywhere. That was the thing. I went to so many different schools as a kid. I never settled down anywhere. It was quite funny because when I was in Manchester, it was really weird because I had my ear pierced. You could climb through this thing. I honestly had this ear pierced by a friend of mine when I was like 11, that, and it was okay in Manchester. But when I came down to the Cotswolds, to Winchcombe, I went to school, and they went, "You can't have that." And my dad saw me getting it in Manchester, and it was a pin and an ice cube and all that, and it was all about this little stud, and it was all wrong angled. And it was really funny because it was just like so I go to Winchcombe School, and you can't have that in here. So I got busted by the headmaster standing outside his office, and I said to Dad, "This is not good." He said, No. This is it, mate. You ain't taking that earring out. I said, "I've got to stand outside the office every lunchtime. It's really shit." And he went, "Well, no, you've had your ear pierced." So I sat outside the office for about a week and a half every lunchtime. And then finally they changed the rules where you could have one stud in your ear. And I brought that down from Manchester. And it was like, no. And finally, and my headmaster was Simon Partridge. I'll never forget his name. I sod this, man. Your dad won't let you take it out, will he? Went, no. He went, "We're gonna have to change the law then." And he changed. They changed the law in Winchcombe School where you could wear a stud in your left ear. That was it. It was like, and I brought that from Manchester. So, oh, great, thanks for that, Dad. I've sat outside this headmaster's office for so long because of you, because you said don't take it out. You're not the one standing in front of the headmaster's office. It's me. So I thought, yeah, right. But finally we did that. That was nice. But
oddly enough, when I was a teenager, I had my ear pierced in Warrington, which is quite near to Manchester.
Yeah, there you go. Did you get busted for it or what?
No.
So how old are you then?
I was born in '68.
Are you only younger than me? You're 51.
Yeah.
You're bloody good. What do you think? I'm 52.
You look really young as well.
Well, I know. I had a shave, especially for you guys this morning. I sound like a bit pretty.
Can you do a Manchester accent?
Not really. No, I used to speak like bloody. I come up from bloody north. But when I was a kid, 11, 12, I was a proper Mancunian. Sort of had this accent.
Yeah.
But to go back with it, now, friends and family of mine, like Jerry, my baby mother, she's great at accents. She's really cool.
Yeah.
And I know people that can do it. I'm terrible at accents. It's one of those things, Irish, English. I just now got this who I am. That's it. Yeah. I think when I get drunk, I think I do revert back a little bit to wet country. And I say, can't read and write, but I can drive a tractor. I think that comes out because that was where I was born.
So did you get into the Happy Mondays or any of that?
No, wasn't my thing. I was a grebo.
Yeah.
I was into I used to sort of embroider on my back of my jacket and don't wash it, and
Didn't get into the rave scene?
I sort of got into the rave scene. It was on a cusp really, because I lived in Portugal at the time, and obviously I was a smuggler, and I was dealing with people out there that were like to the underworld of Portugal. So it was a case of you never queued. It was the back door, in you come.
Yeah.
It was a nice life, We didn't this queue and Kiss and all these top clubs in the Algarve where I was living for a while. There was no sort of waiting around for anything. And you just know there'd be a big queue, and I'd go, "Oh, Matt, yeah. What do you want?" And just do all that with my hands. And then that deep next to you, walk around the side and you got your drinks done.
So before we get to the high level smuggling, the multi-million smuggling, what was your first introduction to criminality?
Well, I obviously, when I was young, I got into motocross. It was fun, Mum and Dad left me. They'd gone up to Spain, and I was living with my girlfriend, and I was really into motorbikes and anything with an engine I loved, and got into motocross. And I bought my own bike. I was 16, 17, so I raced for a few years. I never got good. I was never a professional, but it was fun in my life. And me and my girlfriend split up. It was very sad. It was a classic. It was the classic come home, and we had a bit of a problem. And I buggered off for a couple of days, came back, and she was in bed with a black man. Honestly, it was so true. And the guy was really upset that he'd found out that he'd slept with my girlfriend, and he came in the front room and actually drove the guy home. I drove him home. I was like, he came in the front room. He went, "That's what you doing in my bed with my girlfriend." He was a big guy, all this. And I went, he said, "Look, she's my girlfriend." He went, "Oh, you're joking, man." I said, "Well, there you go, my girlfriend." And he had a go at Jackie. "Sorry, Jack, for this. So you're going to see this. I really feel guilty that I'm saying your name, but there you go, Jack. Shit happens." But yeah, so that happened, and obviously I was brokenhearted. She went off. I sort of hung around the UK for a year or two, where I was, and just decided I didn't want to be here anymore. And my mum and dad were down in southern Spain, so I thought I sod it, and I decided I was going to go on a kibbutz. Got all this kibbutz thing in my head. I was like 21. Let's go on a kibbutz and get all cool. Flew to Gibraltar. Saw mum and dad, hang with them for a bit. I found there was this place called Gibraltar. Went down there. Oh my God, there's a big boat called the barge, the Malimoc, which was built in 1896. This is a big part of my life, the Malimoc, where I went on there. And this is where I met a friend of mine called Lee. And by this time, it was a case of me and Lee were just brilliant. it was like we used to just hang together, live in Speedos, and we both rented a little tiny this big barge, and we rented a bed for £10 a week, a double bed, me and Lee. And he had long wavy hair, and he was just crazy. We just lived in Speedos, you know. There was no, and we just lived our life like that. It was mental for like a year, and so I was doing all this, and then me and him split up. But I fell in love with the eldest girl on the barge called Joey, who's the mother of my 2 children to this day, and they were called Joey, Jerry, Jay, and Jenna. It was called the 4 J's. So there was Joey. It was a very hippie barge, you know, all hippie, and people used to come and go on this place. So they sort of went from Joey, Jerry, Jay, and Jenna, all different ages, and the little kids. So I fell in love with Joey. Lee went his way, I went my way, and Mum went mad, went to a nut house. Dad went to prison. So all of a sudden, overnight, I ended up getting a fully fledged family. I was 21 years old. So all of a sudden, I had this great big barge, which is like 80 foot long, 85 foot, 90 foot long, big Dutch barge in Gibraltar. And I fell in love with you, but I got you lot. And I had a job in a company called the Icebox, which was like £80 a week. But the Gibraltarians there used to smuggle tobacco from, obviously, Gibraltar into Spain, into La Linea. And the thing was, it was a case of the tobacco used to come from America directly to Gibraltar. They'd offload it, cases of Winston, and it was worth loads of money in Spain. And if you had a tobacco license, you could buy as much as you wanted. Obviously, if you had a shop. So what happened was, that was the sweet of the Gibraltarians, because it was quite cliquey. You couldn't become a smuggler with Gibraltarians because it was a Gibraltarian thing. But they knew this family in the barge for many, many years. They've seen them. They used to park their Phantom 21-foot speedboats next to them with 250 horses on the back, black. Everything was black. And one day, one of the guys, a lovely guy, he came in and he said, Matt, he said, I can see you're having some issues right now, you know. So I see that Tuck's gone to prison and your mother's gone to the nut house and you're left with all these kids. You're only 21. We can do you a small favour. I said, what's that? He said, well, we can teach you how to drive a boat and you can come work for us. And I said, okay. So there's £80 a week, malarkey. So I went out in the Bay of Gibraltar, sat in the speedboat, and you got trim tabs on. It's great. You got these trim tabs, which obviously you'll learn. Adjust the angle of the engine. You got your foot throttle down here. And you go across, and obviously you can adjust the engine as it lifts. Your nose comes down, you can get it as fast as you want. I can do 80 miles an hour.
How's that feel?
Oh, mate. If you touch my heart now, you'd know. You think, oh, my God. I even get sort of thinking about it. This is what I'm talking about when I was 21, 22. I was a kid. And I got on this thing, and they were teaching me how to drive this, but it took a couple of days teaching me. And they said, okay, so tonight there could be some work on. So I had to take my waterproofs, crash helmet, an Icon radio next to my bed on the boat. All the kids are inside, and Jerry's next to me in bed. And my passport wrapped up in cellophane, because in case I got round the corner into Latinara and fell out of the boat, and I had to swim in, at least I'd get back into Gibraltar again, because I had a passport, get back in again. So I'm laying in bed one night. It's the maddest thing. I was laying there thinking, and I couldn't see, I was quite, adrenaline was there. I was like, Matt, go. So what the fuck? So I jumped up. It's like 2 a.m. I've run out to my boat. It's a clear night. There's my speedboat there, 21 foot long. You know what I mean, 250 on the back. Come out around the corner, and there's 5 boats there, and they're all part of this one man that owns the tobacco license. And the customs, this is the matter, the customs have cut open the seal, open the back of this container, and they're passing tobacco down to us. This is the customs actually passing tobacco across to us, and we get 20 cases each. The thing is, you can export tobacco, but you can't bring it back. The clause is that. So the customs have to give you this tobacco by law. And it's like, really? They're like, oh, mate, how you doing? But you can't bring it back. So there's all going on out there. You got out we go. And the way Gibraltar is designed, well, the way Gibraltar is, you got Gibraltar down here and you got Latinara there. And there was a place in Gibraltar called the Media Luna, where my secondary man would be, and he'd have binoculars and infrared sights, and he could see Latinara, the beach, which was huge, and he could see exactly where the Guardia Civil were. So I'd come out, and if they're at the far end, he'd go, 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 go. I'd come flying in, and then my boy with me next to me, and he'd push the tobacco onto the bow, and then there was little kids here, like 9, 10, 11, they had 25 quid each per per case, and they just run straight across the road into the house, job done. and they get 25 quid, and they're like, so there's 20 kids there, 20 cases, grab, go. By the time the Guardia Civil got them, I'd be gone. Wow. So I remember the first time I did it, I remember doing 3 runs this night, and I was so fucking hyped up. My heart was going, I was sitting down, and I was thinking, and I was just sitting there thinking, oh, that was just mental. And then woke up the next day, someone gave me £1,500. Kids, let's go shopping! Just like that. And I never looked back. That was my first thing. And basically, it's just tax evasion.
Yeah.
And all it is tax evasion. I'm not hurting anybody. You know, at one stage, we were discussing with these Gibraltarian guys that, there was about £1 million a week going in to La Linea. It's all over now. It's not like it used to be. I actually hit it at the crescendo. I hit it at a really good time. I've had the helicopter chasing me, and they just get American pilots in. They can't shoot you. They can shoot rubber bullets at you, these big rubber things, but they can't kill you because it's tax evasion. They can't proper guns. But I remember the helicopter coming in and hitting my engine with its legs. Coming that close, bang, 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 and trying to stop you, and going, and then because I had a foot froll, I got caught one day, and the boat that used to catch me was called the Turbo, and it wasn't as quick as me. It was a Duano. It was a Spanish gunboat, and I sort of caught next to him with my hand, and I went, all right, whoa, and just go, because I knew he couldn't shoot. I knew he couldn't shoot me. I just put my foot down and go, and I got a boat. Once you trim tabbed it up, you can be doing sort of 75, 80 across the water. So that was my first initial touch into the sort of smuggling world of life. But tobacco, but then obviously escalated. Let
me just pause you there a second, because we skipped over something quite pertinent to your story. You said in one sentence, my mum was put in a mental hospital.
It wasn't my mum, it was Joey's mum.
Oh, Joey's mum, sorry.
It was my girlfriend's at the time.
And who went to prison?
Her dad.
Her dad. And what did he go to prison for?
Cannabis.
Yeah,
he got caught up the coast with some bits and pieces in the house, because obviously I was part of that time of life. It was the Costa del Crime.
Yeah.
It's not the Costa del Crime anymore. That's what it used to be.
What does the Costa del Crime mean for people who don't understand that?
Well, basically, the way I looked at it was a case of, I used to work with some London boys, and I'm not going to say their names, obviously. I don't know if they're alive or dead, but they were quite famous, these guys. But what it was, I think the way it went was when the bank robbers from the UK realised they couldn't rob banks anymore or rob armoured cars, everything turned armoured, everything, when you nick something, it went blue, when you opened things, it all changed. And they found, if you go to southern Spain, there's a place over there called Morocco. And if you get a bit of hash for 300 quid, you can sell it in the UK for £2,000. So they just got onto this. And that's basically what the Costa del Crime became. It was basically hash. That's all they did. They used to come down. All these London boys had nice villas, gated communities. You know, the guy we worked for, it was hilarious. It was just like, I look back on it now, it's like he's had the big Range Rover, big brown, with a goddamn mobile phone like this. It was like really proper old school. You know what I mean? It was so weird. So, but yeah, that was the Costa del Crime. It was just like all the Londoners, basically, I'd say that London ex-bank robbers came down to southern Spain and found that they could make loads of money by using pawns like me, because I could sail and drive speedboats. I could go to Morocco and pick up stuff and bring it back and throw it on the beach and this, that, and the other. I did one job one day, which was hilarious. Like, I've done something. But the problem with them was they were bad at paying. That was my problem with the Londoners. Like, I might do a job that's worth 40 grand to me, but I get in and they wouldn't pay me. And then what do? I'm not a violent man. I'm just a sailor. I could sail. I was driving powerboats, this, that, and the other. And so I'm sorry, mate, we'll pay you next time. You do another job for them, and they wouldn't pay you. And it was really horrible because they still kept that. Whereas in the smuggling fraternity, we're all honest with each other. It was a real close-knit, like policemen hang with policemen, people hang with people, and I hang with smugglers as a team. And you were really nice. Anybody breaks the chain in that team, everything goes apart.
So did you start working for them because of that?
That's yeah. I ended up walking away. I'm owed over 100 grand. And I'd risk my neck and my liberty for these people.
Couldn't you take some of their product?
Well, then again, then I'm still be worried that I'll turn up with a gun or something. It was all very scary because I wasn't, in my job, there was never guns involved. I was a PR man from Morocco, that was it. I used to go to Morocco, get some hash and put it over there, get some money, whatever. But when I was working for these London boys, it was upsetting at the end of the day. It's like, what can I do? I just I can't change the fact. I went to one guy and it was mad one day. We had this job sorted out. When I saw him, he went to this house, picked up £50,000 just like that in cash, went to the marina, bought a boat. That afternoon, we're out sailing the bloody boat to Morocco. just like that. And it was so like, and we're talking like, when I was in my early 20s, 23, 24. We're talking a long time ago.
What were the scariest situations in those early years?
I don't really, scary, I don't know. It's just like the
Close calls or...
The adrenaline, I suppose, back in those days was so high. I did go overboard once, which was terrifying, but luckily I had a leash on, and that was when I was moving 250 kilos from Lebanon.
So you want to run that story down then?
On the Lebanon story, that was quite mental. Me and Elias Manaza, I hope you're still around. I love that guy, he's a good man. That was actually this here. That's the book. And see that? That's the book that I actually wrote during my trip to Lebanon.
So we're going to be looking at this with a view to getting it published for Matt. The Night of the Seagulls.
Yeah, well, basically I wrote...
So that's all the Lebanon story?
Yeah.
All right, well, give us all the details
Well,
then.
obviously that Lebanon story was obviously, I can't say I didn't write in my book what I'd actually done.
Yeah.
But I went to Lebanon to pick up 250 kilos. I went to Elias.
So who's hired you to do this?
The Italians.
The Italians?
Yeah,
Italian mafia? Or
well, I don't know. I suppose you can call them that, but I wouldn't call them that. But maybe they are that. They weren't named characters.
And how did they reach out to you?
I went through a friend of mine, and he got the job. And me and Elias, a friend of mine, I flew to Malta. I met him in Malta with his boat, and we spent a few days there. Then we sailed from Malta to Lebanon. The maddest sail. When you look at my book, it was crazy because we hit some massive seas on the way there. There was some really big seas. But the mad thing was the weather was beautiful. It was so nice. The weather was blue skies and everything, but massive seas. So you're talking like, we're talking about the lovely boat. The nice thing about the boat was it was steel, so it really sat in the water.
How big was it?
Only 35 foot. It's tiny.
So it's getting thrown around.
Oh, mate, it was up and down, up and down. The thing about when you sail, you must win the confidence in your boat. It's like when you get something, it takes you a couple of days to win your confidence. I'm confident with this boat. This boat is going to do what I want it to do. It's going to be good. And we just hit this sea. It was mental. Poor old me and Elias, a little tiny guy, Elias, who's a sort of Lebanese, come something else. And up and down, up and down. I was awake for 3 days. Never forget that. Awake for 3 fucking days. Anything that was drying me was my feet. Because I had a pair of Timberlands on and I'd actually gaffer taped up my ankles. The rest of me was soaked. Up and down, up and down. And it got to the stage where we were taking 20-minute naps and swapping positions. This was going there. And I'd actually lay inside the boat, and there was so much water inside, I'd actually lay in a puddle of water, and it was like healed over, and I was asleep. So like, you go in there, sleep.
Holy shit.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't, there was no time to sort of think about, and I was in deep sleep for 20 minutes, then we'd swap all the time. So I could be on the helm, he'd be on the helm, I'd be on the helm. And over at one time I looked up, and all I could see was Elias and this fucking great wave. And it was translucent, the blue was gorgeous. And all of a sudden I went, Elias! And this wave came over here and hit him and knocked him down onto me inside the boats. And it was like the helm had gone, it was all over the place. And oh my life. So we had 3 days of this. And then one of the nights I took the foresail down because it was that bad. So I'd made my own leash. I'd made this little thing myself so I could clip on, clip off, clip on. And I was sort of sneaking up there really low to obviously stay low, kneel down if you can, and just hold on to the stanchions. I got to the bow. And I just reeled in, got already the foresail. And basically what happened was the boat fell off the face of a wave. So as it dropped, I went straight up the side of the boat. I was gone. Elias said, 1 minute I was looking at the bow, and it's nighttime, and you were there, and next minute you were gone. And then you were back again. So what happened was, as I went over the side, I smashed my face on the keel.
Holy shit!
Because there was no water there, because we were falling off a wave.
Jesus.
Smashed my face on the wave, and as it sunk into the wave, it flipped me back in the boat.
What?
It was like, but because the adrenaline was so there, and you were doing what you did, I just carried on doing what I was doing, pulling the sail down, and just carried on, went back, and just like that, and it was like, bing bong bang, out of the boat. And if I didn't have a leash on, you wouldn't be having this interview.
Wow!
I'd have been dead. I'd have been gone. I was off the south coast of Sicily. So I was off Crete. But I'd be gone. Just like that. And I went out, in, smacked my face, big bruise on the side of my face, back in the boat, and I just went, fuck. What minute you were there, then you were gone. Oh shit. Oh my God, it's back again. All because of my leash sort of twanged me back in. So I was like, bang, twang. As
so what's the leash made out of?
bit of rope I made my own leash. And I mean, you can buy really expensive modern ones now. It's like a thing you clip on, and as you're going along a boat, you've got stanchions with and you know, you got the wire that goes around it, and you clip on, clip off, clip on, clip off as you're walking down the boat. That's what your stanchions for.
Yeah.
So that's what they're there for. So as I was going really low, I always keep low to the ground. I'm kneeling down because the weather was really bad. Clipped on, clipped off. If I hadn't clipped on at the last minute, oh, you wouldn't be here. No way. There's no way he could have found me on his own.
Is it making you reconsider your occupation, this flipping in and out, or are you just like, that's part of what you're doing?
Oh, I'd never be a smuggler again. And I mean, I'm retired now.
No, I mean, at that point in time, getting flipped out the boat, did that make you think, maybe I shouldn't, this is a bit risky?
I don't know, not really, I suppose, because I was a young kid. There was no tomorrow. I was in my early 20s, you know. I was still a little boy in some respects. And now I think, I'm not doing that because I'm old, and I do actually look at a bit of pre-thought into what could have, you know what I mean? I do look ahead of what could have happened.
Yeah. So did this storm die down then?
Yeah. 3 days we're in this.
3 days?
Yeah, 3 freaking days. It was just like, honestly, the sleeping.
It's like a Hemingway story, isn't it?
It was so nice because when it finished, and the thing was, I had these waterproofs on, but all the water got inside, a waste of time. And the amount of rashing I had around my crotch.
Was it salty?
Salt rash here, there. And I remember just stripping off. We didn't have a lot of water on board. And it was so lovely. I remember getting this bottle of water. And I was like, oh, yeah. And I remember doing my crotch.
Washing your balls off.
Washing my balls off. I totally nude, me and Ellis. Because the weather was gorgeous. To see it come down. Me and Ellis were totally nude on the boat. And I remember standing at the back of the boat. My legs apart, holding the sun, like, and the wind was blowing. It was so nice to stand there, and I just washed all my bits off. It was so nice.
Joe, the sound engineer, was saying that we haven't had anyone naked in the studio yet, so if you want to demonstrate.
Oh, no, I'm not going to get my tackle out, you know what I mean? I can show you the scar on my leg from my cancer, but then again, that'll be about it. But
So that must have been some relief then, washing your balls after 3 days.
Oh, it was so nice. Just some fresh water, because obviously I've been sleeping inside the boat, taking turns, just sleeping in salt water. I mean, as it was healed over, and it was obviously, I've got the bilge pump on, but obviously there was so much water coming in all the time. It was just a rotation system. Bilge was pissing out the water, but the water was still coming in because of the waves were so big.
And is your relief offset by your brain being a bit scrambled by this disjointed sleep?
It was just, I don't know, it was just lush when it finished. And we stopped, and it was like, we were over the Ionian Abyss, which is thousands and thousands of meters deep. And it was real raw blue. And I said to Theo, I said to Elias that I'm going to go for a swim. I just want to sit in the water for a bit.
You see, there's loads of fish and stuff.
Well, no, you're in the middle of the Med. You can't see anything.
Okay.
It's just like, but it was really weird because we put a rope over the back. So if you go for a quick swim, we was at the Sitdowns, so the boat was moving very, very slowly. So I remember getting up on deck, jumping off and nothing on. And it is the strangest sensation when you think where you are. And it's called the Ionian Abyss. I think it's 11,000 foot deep.
Wow.
It's the deepest part of the Med. So I remember looking at the chart and I'm thinking, so I'm sitting there looking at myself. I thought, fuck, if there was no water here, I'd fall 11,000 feet. And it was one of those strange things in my head. I was swimming back to the boat really fast. Ellis, I'm going to come back. I'm coming back. I got back to the boat. He said, what's over here? I said, I was totally freaked out then. If there was no water, I'd have fallen 11,000 feet. And it's weird when you have these things in your mind.
Do you see like dolphins or whales or anything?
Yeah, I see dolphins and whales. And I say about half a day before we got there, I finally caught a little bonito, a little tuna, which was lovely. So we've been living off of chicken noodle soup and guarana, which we were smashing up with a fucking hammer because we couldn't make a lot of food because the way the boat was doing its thing, you know. So I was eating guarana for energy and chicken noodle soup because the gimbal of the boat, we just put it on, make some chicken noodle soup, eat it during. But we caught this tuna. It's like, a little baby one called a bonito. And I love sushi, so I just chopped it. I was eating it raw. I just fucking get in the boat, fucking eat it. I just love it. I was like a young kid just eating raw tuna. I'm sure I wasn't cutting it like a sushi chef, but I was just, that looks fine to me. Did you have a bit of that? Yeah, a bit of that. You know what I mean? And then I fried up some of it because we have no fridge on board. So we just had to sort of eat it the best we could, you know, just like eat fresh. You know. So we pulled into a place called Junier in Lebanon. And obviously, Elias, my man, was Lebanese. And Junior was mental because it was a really expensive marina in Lebanon. I don't understand all this. And they all spoke French, and then your kids had to speak French. But it was something like 20 grand a year to park your boat there. And it was ridiculous. But you were allowed to spend like sort of a few weeks there at a cheap price. But it was all gym palaces and some of the power boats there. And I thought, this is Lebanon. I'm 22, 23.
So when you pull up at another country like that, is there a procedure you got to go through, like a customs or something?
Well, no, you go in there, and you show them your passport, let them know you're there, and that's it. They just leave you alone. They don't bother you.
Right.
And so we came in with this boat, and our boat was steel, and fucking, it was so hot. It was in Lebanon. But I remember getting off the boat and I had land sickness, which is the strangest thing. Yeah, because I've been on a boat for over 2 weeks. When I put my feet on the land, that's where the sailor's roll comes from. That's exactly where the sailors work. When you've been at sea for a long time, you get off the boat and the ground's doing that. It feels like you're drunk. So I was sort of getting off the boat and I was sort of doing this. And I've been on a boat for over 2 weeks and I couldn't. So I said, "What the fuck? Oh, I'm sliding all over the place." I was all over the gaff. The whole ground was moving because your body is so used to moving for 2 weeks and it's still moving in your brain.
Yeah.
So it took me a good day to come down from that. But the thing about this place was it was all subsidised. So everything was really cheap. Like a bottle of beer was dead cheap. Food was beautiful. It was French. That's why you pay the 20 grand a year to go in junior year. So I said to Elias, "It's too fucking up beyond the boat, mate. Can't do all this." It was like roasting hot. So we booked into a hotel. Just to get off the boat, hotel. Booked into a hotel, which was really nice, and just sort of spent a couple of weeks there while everybody was organising stuff, which was really nice. And, it's the back Valley, whatever it comes down from. But at the end of the day, it was quite fun, really, because the Americans sort of occupied it for many years. Like the cinemas there are Americanized. So you'd get a movie that was sort of wouldn't come into Europe. It would go to Lebanon, then America, then Europe. So not only that, the cinemas are beautiful. They're all air conditioned and shit. So every day, I just went to cinema nearly every day. Let's go cinema. Yeah, good. Just sit in this really lovely air conditioned cinema and watch a movie.
What kind of movies were they showing?
I don't really know back then. That was a long time ago now. I can't even remember what they were, but it was just so nice to be in somewhere that was cool. I didn't think I even give a shit about what film it was. It was just like, oh, this is nice. It's so cool. Like, you're talking like sort of 45 degrees outside. And the food there was lovely. I must admit, because it was Christians and Muslims, and I actually went into Beirut itself and saw sort of the devastation of what it was like, just the way that sort of some of these buildings in the centre were crumbling through bullet holes, not explosions, the amount of bullets. And I met some of Elias's family, and one was a goldsmith. He made me a really nice necklace while I was there, a little cross and that. But, they carried on life as normal during the war. And they'd go out clubbing, but they had to go certain routes because of snipers. I said, so you had to go a certain route? Yeah, there were snipers on this road. You got to watch out for them. They'll shoot you. But to me, that was such a shock. And that was a normality to these guys. We've got to go this way and this way. So yeah, I had a couple of weeks there, which was...
Was war still going on, or had war stopped?
No. The war had stopped, but that was what he'd grown up with.
Yeah.
And he was an older guy, and he was just saying, "Yeah, we go this way." And the one guy was a solicitor, and he had machine guns, AK-47s in his office. And I went to one house and was sitting in the front, and there was bullet holes in the wall where somebody had been shooting from outside the house. It was like, but to them, it was all just normal, war and stuff. And I was like, "Oh my God, that is so crazy." So yeah, I had a bit of time there, and the food. I remember the food was lush. I remember eating there, and we finally sort of picked up this 250 kilos of it was a Lebanese hash in Hessian bags. It's all very pretty compared to what I was used to, which was like soap bars.
250 kilos of hash back then. What was that worth roughly?
£2,000 a kilo. So you're talking a lot of money.
Yeah.
And but we were taking it back to Sicily, and no, to Sardinia. So the sale was funny. We sort of came out, and it was funny because I remember Elias saying that he'd paid for somebody to see us out, okay? And I thought, oh. So as we've come out, I see a military boat behind us. I thought, oh, for fuck's sake, I can't deal with this. I don't want to go to prison here. And it was they would just make sure we got out, okay? The military, they'd been paid off. And the boat came out with the 250 on it. Put it in the fuel tank. Job done. And then off we went to the sailboat was lovely and smooth compared to the sail there. Sail there was fucking nightmare. Sailboat was fine. On the way back, we went to Sicily. Actually came into Sicily, which is quite mental because that's where Elias's missus lived. And, to actually pull in, didn't even look at our boat, we just sort of came in because we had a starter motor problem. Came into Sicily, coming back, and I think it was Catania we stayed in. And I saw his missus, very nice. And I remember sleeping outside because it was so hot. And it was so close, it was so weird because we were only a few miles from Mount Etna. And we were sleeping outside on a mattress, and I could feel the floor rumbling. Isn't that weird? It was like, because Etna's alive, even though I wasn't spewing out. But I was staying there for a couple of nights. And outside, I thought I'd stay outside because it's really hot in the house. And I could feel the rumble. And I thought, what's that noise? Oh, they got a volcano over there. And it was the oddest thing. I actually felt the ground moving a little bit underneath me, little rumbles and that.
This is a reoccurring theme with you, the ground moving.
Oh, I know. It's just, yeah, but that was definitely Mount Etna. Definitely doing something underneath me. So I spent a couple of days there with Elias. I don't know how long we got, but I could tell you something else, which was the mentalist thing, because when we pulled him, it's for a starter motor. We had to get it repaired, so we sent it off, and we went into, I think it was Palermo, and there was me and Elias there walking around the town. We went to the train station, and honestly, I couldn't believe this. Out of the blue, police pulled up alongside us, grabbed Elias, my friend, who was my captain. We've just done so much time together. We went A, B, C, D, all the way to Lebanon, picking this up, coming all the way back to Sicily. You know, we're just getting on with our day. They just, and I was sort of, oh, fuck. They just grabbed him and slung him in the car. This is the politest. This is the goddamn police. So there's me terrified. I'm sitting there with no money, nothing, at the train station. And my captain has just been taken by the police. What's going through my head? I got nothing. I had a little personal organiser on me, which I tried to sell so I get some money and didn't. So I just sat there at this train station all day. So obviously what's going through my mind is obviously they found the gear on the boat, or this is going on, that's going on. Oh my God. So I sat there and Elias walked past me that evening, put some money in my hand, said, Matt, I'll see you tomorrow here at a certain time, and that was it.
Did the police want their payoff?
No. Basically what it was I ended up booking into this little sort of B&B, and it was a knocking shop, I'm sure, because people were screwing all night. I just paid this thing, I went, just to get my head down. And all I could hear was people shagging all night. And I thought, oh God, I really don't need
ground
this.
moving.
Yeah, no, it really is that. So I walked back out, went to the train station. Elias met me. We got on a taxi back to the port. Mistaken identity. There'd been a bank robbery. There'd been a bank robbery that day, and he looked like one of the bank robbers. What's the chances of that?
Holy shit.
So I was like, are you fucking kidding me? What was going through my head was they found the gear on the boat. We've been busted. They've got hold of a photograph of him from something. And it was a mistaken identity. Of all the people to pull, was him. And there's me sitting there thinking. So we finally got back to the boat, and then I fucked it up again. Well, I didn't fuck it up. I never fuck things up normally, but it was really mad because the guy had repaired the starter motor, and he'd leant across and I put my hand out like that, and I forgot how heavy it was, and just dropped it straight in the sea. Just like that. I went, oh my God. So I had to dive down and get it, and the marina was so dirty. And I remember, I didn't smoke back. Well, I didn't really smoke back in there. I had nice young lungs, and I was a different person to now. But I remember jumping in with a mask, couldn't see anything. So all I had to do was go down, and I just put my hand in all this sludge and just feel around, and finally found it. And it weighs a bit. It took me a while. I kept jumping in. Finally got it. And the swim up was the hardest swim up in my life because this thing was heavy. I didn't have flippers or nothing, and I was just, and I finally got it out. And that was it. Gave it to somebody above me, and we had to redo the bloody starter motor, blah, blah, get it all done again. But I couldn't believe that went. So I thought it was going to be a lot lighter, and I just dropped it. So we left there, went all the way to Puerto Corralo, where we delivered it to the Italians, pulled straight in. They came that night, took all the 250 off board, took it away. Got arrested the next day because the police in the Puerto thought we were smuggling. They were a bit too late.
Where were you when you got arrested?
Puerto Coralo in Sicily, on the east coast, southeast coast.
In the boat?
Yep.
And they came?
They came and arrested us on suspicion of smuggling. But the Italians had come the day before and took all the gear off the boat.
Wow. Did they take you off the boat for
Yeah,
questioning?
took us to the police station. I think I've got somewhere there's a bloody big thing about it, and they went negativo. It was all negativo. They couldn't find anything. It was like, thank fuck you came the next day.
Did they try and interrogate you or anything?
Yeah, asked us questions, what you doing, where you been, So then from there, then that was it. Then it was just like, job done. Went back to Spain, went back home, and but the saddest thing about all this was the gear wasn't good enough for the Italians.
No.
The quality wasn't there. So this is the thing about when you're in this world. So the only time I ever made any really good money is when I worked for myself.
Did they not pay you for that one?
No.
Oh, man.
So...
Let me ask you a few questions then. Where does the hash come from? Where is it grown?
In where? So in Morocco?
So you picked
No,
up in Lebanon?
this was the back of Valley. This was in Lebanon. That's down to
You
them.
picked it up in Lebanon?
Yeah.
Where does it come from?
In the mountains.
Which country?
In Lebanon.
Oh, it's grown in Lebanon.
Yeah, it's grown in Lebanon, up in the
I see,
mountains.
okay.
There's a certain altitude for hash to grow it.
Yeah.
And that's the altitude it likes to be at. It's quite high.
Yeah.
And it's got to be like south facing, this and that with the sun all day long, blah, 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 blah. So that's where it came from. Very pretty when I saw it. It came in Hessian bags, and it was nice because it was all different shapes.
Yeah.
It was lovely. It was really pretty, you know, and it was like these stamps of one of my favourite trees, which is the cedar tree. There was a lovely cedar tree stamp on it, which is a Lebanese sort of a picture.
Are you able to analyse the quality when you're getting it, uploading it?
No.
Is there a chance that the Italians just said it wasn't good enough quality to try
Oh, no,
and
they
get
were
out
good.
of
I
pain?
remember going at myself. I'm actually quite good at quality check myself, but I thought it was okay, and it wasn't something that I was thinking about at the time.
Yeah. To go through all that, to get flipped out the boat and everything, and then
it was just like, oh,
that's
shit.
heartbreaking.
Yeah, but then I said again, I was young, you know, I was a young, sort of fun, full of cum, and just like, you know, you just get on with your life, don't you? It's just like, yeah, let's do something else now, you know. It's just.
What was the next thing you did?
Well, I did that with into the Lebanon thing. I sort of think because I've got my book here, but you know, I was trying to write notes down the other day of how many things I've been doing, of where it's gone. But it's like sort of to correlate it, it's a bit difficult, you know, sort of. But
have you got another big smuggling story like that?
Well, yeah. Well, I went to South America for 2 tons of cocaine.
2 tons of cocaine.
Yeah.
So is this coming from the cartel, the Colombians?
Yeah, but I didn't want to do it. It was really sad because it was a case of a friend of mine, a good friend of mine. He wanted to get involved with it, this, that, and the other, and I really wanted nothing to do with it because I don't like the murder, death, kill involved with cocaine. It's not nice. That's why I always stayed with cannabis. You know, I've done things in my life, but it's never hurt anybody individually. I've always liked being me, and and I think the karma that I carry is good.
So did you decline the cocaine mission? Or did
No, he chased me down. I was going all over the place, and my mate finally caught up with me.
So how did he convince you to do it?
£1 million. Says £1 million, Matt. I went.
Did you ask for any up front?
No. At the end of the day, it was ridiculous. Me and my man, we flew over to Panama. I went from it was crazy. I went from sort of Faro to Lisbon to bloody to Miami to fucking Panama, and we were there because the thing was I had a really good method which I came up with. I wish I pinched off somebody else. It was a really good idea because remember these guys coming to Gibraltar and going out of Gibraltar, and what they were doing with the Zodiac, they were slicing it, taking the label off, and filling it with tobacco. And stitching it back up and blowing up. And then you had a bloody Zodiac full of tobacco, but inside the tubes. What a clever idea! So I did it with the London boys, and they're going to Morocco and filling up 250 kilos inside the tubes for this one firm, and we got all the way across. And I came in on Sunday afternoon. It's really weird. We came in, me and Paul. I remember jumping out of the boat. It was sunny, really hot on the Costa del Crime on the Costa. I remember swimming in, and I've been at sea and been in Morocco for so long. Swimming in, going to the phone box, going to the bar, ringing up my man, who was one of the London guys, and said, "It's here." And he went, "Cool." I remember looking out the window across here, and it's full of all the fucking kids were using my boat as a diving ramp. There was my little dinghy was out there with 250 kilos in it. All these kids were jumping in it because they were obviously tourists, and they were all using it to do back somersaults off and this and that. I'm thinking, but finally they went, "Yeah, we'll come and get it." So I remember jumping back in the boat, off. I remember driving along thinking, "Oh, nude people," and it was like I was driving, and I'd obviously come into a nudist beach. When I'm driving along in this boat with 250 kilos inside the tubes, and going past these women. They're like, "Oh my God." I was with a good friend of mine, Paul, God rest his soul. He's passed away now, but Paul was with me. Went, I saw past this lot, finally put it on a trailer, and off they went. Ripped me off again, but anyway. But anyway, the reason was I was going to say was obviously I found a way of putting it in the tubes, and that's what these South Americans wanted me for. So my mate, Steve.
So what year is this now?
I must have been about 26, 25, I don't know. So I'm 52 now, so you have to work that out.
So
yourself.
It's the 90s then?
Yeah.
So is this, are you dealing with like the Cali cartel, is it?
Well, I wouldn't know who they are because I didn't actually sort of check up who they were, but I was told this was what I was going to get, this is what I needed to do. So we went out there, and they really wanted me because Steve went to Miami and bought these 2 big gomas, big dinghies. We did a recce first, and we were going to bring it into the Isle of Wight. Actually, I did all this. We did all the mathematics first. When you say a recce, you look where it's going to go. You check things out prior to your job. You don't just turn up at some beach. You work out the beach. You work out what the police are doing. The mathematical equation into doing certain things are a lot bigger than they think they are. I'm going to become a smuggler. They ain't going to become a smuggler. You got to,
Is the Isle of Man a good spot?
That was not the Isle of Man, Isle of Wight.
Isle of Wight, sorry, good spot.
No, yeah, it was, because we worked it all out. It was really good. There was no issues there, and it was a good little beach we could bring it into. So obviously, I went out to Steve. Me and Steve went out there, and we were just sitting in hotels waiting for this job. And I bought all the equipment that I needed, and it was the craziest thing because I didn't want to do it. I just felt really guilty about it.
What equipment did you have to buy?
Just glues and stuff for stitching up the boats. I mean, just bits and pieces that I need for what I had to do. And the mad thing was, I'm actually going to say this now on here, and I hope it doesn't kick me in the arse, but these Panamanian guys sort of turn up in Armani suits to the hotels with really nice Rolexes on and stuff. They just kept giving us money. Wait. I'm talking hundreds of dollars, because obviously they've got. I think the currency there was the Balboa, but the currency they like in Panama is dollars, because the Americans were there with the Panama, and they love all dollars. So they come just give me money all the time. But they came around one day and said, "Come on, you need to bring a new sweatshirt with you." I said, "A sweatshirt? Yeah, bring a sweatshirt." One into the town, two into this back street, took a photo with 2 different sweatshirts. That afternoon, I had a passport, I had a driving license, I had an ID card. I was Panamanian. I was half Panamanian because I could speak Spanish. I was half Panamanian and half English. And my name, I never forget my name. To this day, it's like your national insurance number. My name was Miguel Antonio Guerdes Gordon. Because I went, I couldn't fucking believe it. I went, Steve got his, I got mine. I was looking at this passport and went, that's mental. Because I was on the roster on the boat. So I'm saying, so I was part of the ship that was coming through, which was a super tanker. So I was part of that. So I had to have all this equipment to get on the boat to become part of the crew. And obviously this boat was going to come all the way up through the Atlantic, off of the Isle of Wight. Both boats would be dropped in the water. Me and Steve come flying in with a ton in each. And jobs are good 'un.
So they're using a super tanker to do this?
Yeah, it was proper. I was like, I wasn't asking any questions, as long as I got, So
what was the genuine cargo on the super tanker? What was that?
I'm not sure, to be honest. It was just a big super tanker, and I remember, this is where the boats were. This is what we were going to do. But it was mental because we were there for quite a few weeks, and I was getting really bored. I was like, And some of the places I could see, the hotels are really nice there. And I had this little book of, let's go try this hotel today. Let's try that hotel today. It's just like just trying different hotels all the time. I was just bored. And it's really, really, really crazy. Every afternoon at like 2 o'clock, it rained. And the thing about Panama is you're in the jungle. You expect Tarzan to come flying through any minute. It's really hot and humid. And like, it's a city, but all the trees have these things hanging down like Tarzan trees. If you could sort of walked out, you'd be in the jungle. You could do that at the end of the day and it'd be black. Just because all the cars there are American. It's American this, American that. And it was so mental. It's just like, I couldn't believe I had this passport, this. But it's really funny because when you walk around Panama City, it's all Western Union and DEA this, DEA that. It's all telling you that the DEA could be here, they could be this. So it's actually funny. I don't know, it wasn't my money. I had a fucking casino downstairs in this hotel one day. I'm a young kid, just playing blackjack. It's not my money, I don't give a shit. There's this guy sitting next to me, pissed as a fart he was. It was him and Steve. They come out, put your drinks there, and you're drinking and you're playing, and I was just sitting like that. This guy, and the thing is, when you do this sort of thing, you got to have a story. Obviously, you got to have an answer to a question. And obviously, me and Steve were waiting for a yacht deliverers to come into the Panama Canal. But El Nino was there at the moment. And when the boat had turned up, we were going to go up to the Martinique, to the West Indies, and deliver the yacht.
So a hurricane was there? No,
El Nino, wasn't that even, it was a bad weather time many, many, many years ago.
Okay.
People actually don't type in El Nino, they'll see that the weather was really bad at that moment in time. And so that was our sort of get out of sort of jail free card. When somebody talked to you, you must have an answer, because we were a couple of European guys in Panama City. What the fuck are you doing here? And you say, well, look, I'm waiting for a yacht from the West Indies, and I'm going to be taking it up to Martinique. But this guy next to me was really funny. I went, no. Saying, why are you fucking out? So he went, oh, you? I'm DA. I said, fuck. And so I just drinking. I had a few drinks. Yeah, I'm here. Got to keep an eye out for all these drug dealers that are coming around. He was goddamn fucking DEA. He was sitting next to me in a casino, and there's Steve sitting next to him. So I went, Oh, for fuck's sake, we don't need this right now. It was DEA, pissed us off. Because he'd been sitting there for days and that's his job. He's just to hang around Panama and bump into people just like me. And, you know, and find out what you're doing and bust you or get on your case. And he gave me some of my chips. He had no money. So I said, oh, yeah, man, give me some chips. So I gave him some of my chips. I was playing casino. I went to still going, mate. And Steve ended up sitting down there most of the night with the guy. I never could laugh with the guy. It was really funny. But things like that, it was just mental, you know. But it was so weird because I'd already organised the UK and I organised the people that were going to drive the trailers away with Steve and where it was going in London, the 2 boats. And what I decided to do was, even my granddad was involved, love him dearly, bless your granddad. I'd buried a Huel in his back garden. So, you know, the top of roof racks. Yeah, buried that in his garden. So what I was going to do, I was going to take 50 kilos. I did not believe anybody, even at a young age, I've been so involved in this world of smuggling, who the fuck is going to fly into England and give me £1 million? Seriously, who's going to do that? I'm part of the South America, doing this work for the South Americans. I'm just a pawn in their game. I had enough of the London boys ripping me off 24/7. And that's what I said to myself. I said to Steve, as soon as this gets back to the UK, I'll take 50 keys out. As soon as it gets, I'm going to slice the thing open, take 50 keys out, and I'll take it. I'm going to bury it in my granddad's fucking garden. I'll sell a kilo just like that. And I'll just take it easy. I won't rush it. And then they're not going to come looking for me. Do you know what I mean? But, you know, I wasn't, who the hell is going to turn up and give you £1 million in a suitcase?
Not going to happen.
Exactly. And that was my wages. So I thought I'd take 50 keys, call it a day. You got 2 tons there, guys. You're not going to miss 50 keys. And you're not going to come looking for me. I bet they go, oh, and thank God he took that. That saves us killing him. That's what I felt. It was so easy for them just to turn up and shoot me and not pay me. And life is so cheap in that world that I thought, oh, fuck it.
So did you take the keys?
No, we didn't. This is the beauty of it. Watch this. This is
no.
This is where this is amazing. There, now this I'm very happy about this. I was sitting on the bed in this hotel.
Still in Panama.
Yeah, and Steve was in the shower. I saw the super tanker being busted on the telly. And I saw the speedboats that Steve had bought on the bow and the cameras are panning around. And all these guys are in the gunnels, tie wrapped up. And they opened the cocaine. There was America. There was a finger on it like that. That was the stamp on these kilos of coke, was the finger. Oh, and Steve went, fuck! And that was it, out of there. Quick as he could. Next flight out of Panama, me and Steve on it. And I was happy. I was so happy I wasn't getting involved in it. I didn't want to do it. And it was Karma looking down, and the powers that be were looking down on me going, Matt, it's good.
Imagine ending up in a Panamanian prison.
Oh, mate, with the Moroccan jails, all that. You know, I had a friend of mine died in a Moroccan jail. It was terrible, you know.
He died in a Moroccan jail?
Yeah. I don't know how he died, but he was there. He was a smuggling friend of mine, but he was like a straight-laced lad. You know, he was an old guy, but he ended up dying out there. But
that's so sad.
But I was just like, I was so happy when I saw that. But just imagine if I'd have got on that boat and 2 tons. You'd never see me again. I'd have died out there, I'm sure.
So you're just all about the pure adventure at this stage in your life. The money is secondary, it seems.
It was cool. And I don't knock my life at all, what I did. And I still say to this day, I've loved my life. I've had a brilliant life. You know, I've been here, there, everywhere, and I've done some fantastic things. Been scared and happy and, you know, but wicked. You know, the adrenaline of doing what I do, what I did, is, you know.
What was the scariest situation then?
Well, that was pretty scary doing that, I suppose, out there. I say falling overboard was pretty freaky when I look back on it. But just trying to think what I've done, you know, that was actually scary. I can't really sort of say that what was actually really scary.
Or what were you hired to do next? What was your next big mission?
Well, I wasn't hired. I did loads of things, you know. I've done like did jobs to Portugal myself, and so it's just like 1 second. Let me just grab this. Sorry, guys, we're going to grab this a second.
Yeah, you're fine.
It's just that.
I'll just keep talking while you do that.
After finding out about just a few notes.
Like I said at the very beginning of the video, Matt Simpkins, Living with Cancer, is Matt's YouTube channel. It's in the description box below the video. Matt is in a serious stage of cancer, hence the cough.
Sorry about that.
We all appreciate your love and support for Matt. If you click over to his channel, you can see he's got like a video diary that he's doing about his battle with cancer, and I was watching it this morning, and it's just, you know, absolutely heartrending. So, but we're at the end of this interview, we're going to talk more about where he is with his cancer. Did you find what you were looking for?
There's loads in here.
There's loads.
They've gone for weeks about this. Seriously, there's so much there.
Yeah.
And if I want to elaborate on, I can make them very short and sweet. But then again, I think
they
should be.
We want elaboration. We want elaboration.
They should be fun, you know. It's like
yeah. You don't have to make anything short and sweet on this podcast.
My eldest, Ahmed Jade, who I love, you know, obviously I got both my kids. I got TMA, he was born in the UK, but Ahmed Jade was born in Gibraltar.
Yeah.
And that was during my smuggling life. And obviously she was only a year old when it went bad for Ireland, and I got caught in Ireland. But prior to that, I lived in Linear and did my bits and pieces. And it was so funny one time. There's a nice little story about me and a guy called Hippie Mark, again, rest his soul. He was another sort of dealer he used to deal in like big amounts of cannabis resin. And I was skint, living in my flat. There's my little flat, run over to the house actually in Linear. And I was like, oh shit, I need to get some money. And Jerry was there which is my girlfriend and mother of my kids. And I was walking down towards Gibraltar, and Hippie Mark came past me. I knew what he was and who he was, and we're good friends. And as I looked back, he looked back at me, and I went, oh, Mark. He went, yes. I said, I haven't got any gear, have you? I'm really skint at the moment. He said, I've got fucking loads, and do you want someone to lay some on you? I said, that's exactly what I fucking want, because I've got no fucking money. So he laid some on me. It was brilliant. I don't know, 20 kids. But he laid this gear on me. So, and it was really nice because back in the old days, along the Costa del Crime and here, there and everywhere was roadblocks by the Guardia Savile. So you could come around a corner, be a roadblock, pull you over, and it was game over. So what one used to do is use walkie-talkies, but they were a bit of a giveaway if they searched your car. But the mobile phones had just come out. So it's brilliant. So what I did was I got my brother, rustled up enough money to get a couple of hire cars, stuck the gear in my brother's car. I went in front of him, I'd zero off my tachograph. And as soon as I got to sort of 5 or 6 miles away, I'd ring him on a mobile phone, great, and say, leave now. And off we go up to Portugal. So I just double my money. So he gave me all this gear, slung in the boot of my brother's car. Off I go, off to Portugal. Because I got my mate Steve there. He would take it off me. He was going to get 2 back in the UK. I'd flog it to him for £1,000. He made 1,200 quid on it. I could pay Mark back. So I went shooting up there, blah, 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 A, B, C, D, me and my brother, this, that, and the other. Got up there with no issues, no problems. Gave it to Steve. Went back in the house, sort of, 40 hours later to Joey, £10,000 on the table. We had nothing 2 days before.
Wow.
And just like that. From him there, and I paid Mark what I owed him, I bought it off him. Just like that. It was just the way life was. It was just like, you know, I'm going to live now for a little while. And it was pretty mental, really. And just things like that, you know. We had this, remember me, I'm not going to say his name, but me and my, we bought a Mercedes for a job because it never actually got used, but we had it was an SEC, never forget, it was lovely, 500 V8 Merc coupe. And we brought off this German guy. He was in, where was he? He was in Duquesa. And I remember his dad used to sell car mats, which I thought was quite crazy because he used to make millions, his dad, selling car mats. And his son was just like living off his dad's money. And we bought this thing and it was from Baden-Baden. And the registration number was bad. And it was lowered, proper single coupe, V8, 5 litre. It's all dark blue. And I looked like a smuggler then. I really did look like a smuggler. I had like beach pants, big ponytail, you know, and I just actually looked the part. And what we bought it for was that we were going to take the heated units out of the seats and you could get sort of 15 kilos under each seat. It looked really nice, you know. Wow. So there I was driving up the coast, right at the Costa, left right on that, and I was smoking a porro, a joint. Call it a porro in Spain. So I had a little bit of pollen in my, a lovely ball of pollen in my sock. And I was smoking this joint and I got these big colourful beach pants, ponytail, I come around, fucking roadblock. Oh no, fucking hell. Straight up, it's you over here now. You are right fucking, and get hold of you. So as I got out, I fucked the joint out the window. I was like around the corner, they pulled me over, and I've opened the door, and the dog's just gone fucking balmy. Oh. All you smell is weed, you know what I mean? It's for hash. So the dog's jumped in, my Spanish isn't too bad. I said, mira, la piel. I'm going to look at the leather. The pedal, calm the pedal. I was shouting at the Guardia Civil. So look at the fucking dog scratching the leather on my car. He said, "Donde está la hashish?" Like, where's the hash? Where's the hash? I said, look, coño, which is cunt, excuse my French, in Spanish. I go, coño, meow. So I've gone, antes yo tengo un porro. He said, oh. I said, mira, come here. Pulled this little ball of pollen out of my thing, went, fuck off. Basically just went, threw it into the sea, which was there, and just said, fuck off. It was like that, basically. It was just like, he's not going to